hopefully it's going to not be annoying right now. Alright, so we've looked at expanding one bracket. Okay, we've looked at expanding two separate brackets. But this is a situation where we may be asked to expand an expression with two brackets next to each other. Okay, so we've done stuff like this one. There's two brackets there, but they were separated, weren't they, with this plus 5, 2. But these kinds of questions are two brackets next to each other. Now, we know that when terms are next to each other, it means they are being multiplied. So we need to add the word multiplied. Alright, that says multiplied, obviously, word already. Okay, so are being multiplied. Each term in the first bracket must be multiplied by each term in the second. I know it's gone weird. So each term in the first bracket must be multiplied by each term in the second. Now, how you do that is completely up to you. You may have learned some fancy method in a previous school. You may find a special way of doing it. There are two main ones that we would suggest that you want to probably pick one to do. The first one, and you will hear lots of people talk about this, is when we're expanding two brackets, we use the word FOIL to remember the order in which to do it. Okay. So the F stands for first. The O stands for outer. The I stands for inner.
That's the last one.
And the L stands for last. So we've got first, outer, inner, last. So I'm going to show you what that means when it comes to it. Okay? Essentially, what was going to happen is we've got 4 things here. So to multiply the first terms, we would be multiplying 1 and 3. Because they are the two numbers first. Does that make sense? Outer. Which numbers do you think we'd be looking at for the outer ones? Jade?
2 and 4.
Outer. Outer.
Oh, 1 and 4.
1 and 4. Okay, so outer would be 1 and 4. Inner. Which do you think would be the inner? Georgie, you had to go at the last one. You were going to have a go at the last one. What would you call the inner? 2 and 3. And the last would be, Maya? Just for the last one.
2 and 4.
Thank you, Sarah. 2 and 4. Try to shout out the sweetheart. So we've got 1 and 3 are our two first ones. 1 and 4 are the out ones. 2 and 3 are the in. 2 and 4 are the last. Okay? So that's the 4 different combinations that we can have, and it helps us remember which order to multiply stuff. Now you may think, whoa, that's craziness. Okay? Let me see if I can find a slightly more visual way of doing it. Well, you could use what we sometimes refer to as the boxes method. So you would have your first two terms, or your first term split up into 1 and 2 in here. Then you would have 3 and 4 in the bottom two. Okay, so this box here is empty. And then you would, where those boxes meet each other, you would multiply the terms. So you would have 1 and 3 here, and then 2 and 3 here. You'd have 1 and 4, and 2 and 4. You sat there. I can't make myself invisible.
I get it.
Now, again, you may be thinking, I'm not quite sure what's going on. When we get to an example, things should become clearer. So we would have here's our example. Now, you can see on the left-hand side, I'm going to go through FOIL, and on the right-hand side, I'm going to go through the boxes. You can complete both of them, you can copy both examples down, or you can say, do you know what, I think I'm going to pick one of these and I'm going to run with it. So, you don't have to do both methods for all of them. I will for a couple of them to help you choose and select the ones that you prefer the most. No, you're just multiplying them. It was just a way of making sure that you had them. Alright, so my FOIL method. So I need to remember that I'm multiplying. Okay, so I'm multiplying my two first terms. So I look at my expression here. My first terms are x and x. When I multiply those, what do I get, Claire?
X squared.
X squared, excellent. Okay, so my first two terms together multiplied gives me x squared. My outer, my two outside, so remember the outside edges. Be careful of the signs. Madison, what do you think we'd have when we're multiplying my two outside edges?
X, is it
One of them's x, yes, and what's the other one?
3?
Careful. No, your outside, it's not 3 though, is it? What is it?
Negative.
Good go, it's negative 3. So what's happening when we multiply those two together? We've got x multiplied by negative 3. What do we get? Not a trick question. X multiplied by negative 3.
Oh. How do you do it? X.
So you're just multiplying that by negative 3. So x and then negative 3, they're being multiplied together. What's happening? We just get rid of our multiply side, don't we? Yes? So we would write negative 3x. Yes?
I thought that was a subtraction, sorry.
Remember we've talked about this, sweetheart, when it comes to these kinds of things, we are accepting that a negative and a subtract sign are similar, they're interchangeable. Okay, so our two inside ones, our two inner ones, which are the numbers first of all, which are the terms, which are the letters?
Where should we 7?
It doesn't say
X.
70, that says X.
Oh.
Like I can't, it's the board, you have to bear with me.
I thought it was.
I can't do anything about it, okay? So, what are my two inner ones? Georgie?
2 and X.
2 and X, and when we're multiplying them, that becomes 2X, good. And then our last two, Jade?
Plus X times minus.
Our last two.
2 and minus X.
2 and, no,
Times.
what are the last two terms in each bracket? What's the last term in this bracket?
2
And what's the last term in this bracket?
minus 3.
Minus 3. So you're multiplying those two together. What's that?
So, 6.
You've got 2 and you've got negative 3. It gives you 6, but what
Oh,
time?
minus 6.
It begins negative 6. Good, because it's a positive 2 and a negative 3.
Oh, this is multiplication.
It's only for multiplication and addition and division, that rule. So our first two were x and x, so that gave us x squared. Our outer were negative 3 and x, that gave us negative 3x. Our inner were the 2 and the x, that gave us 2x. And our last was negative 2 and negative 3, which gave us negative 6. Yes? Now, can we see how I've split my boxes?
Yeah.
So this bracket here, I've separated an x and a plus 2, and in this bracket, I've written down this way. Okay. Which one's horizontal and which one's vertical, it doesn't matter, okay? It really doesn't matter which order you put them. Now what we're going to do is where those boxes meet, I'm going to write the answer to when I would multiply them. So in this box here, I'm going to look at x and x, so that gives me x squared. And in this box here, I've got positive 2 and x, so that gives me 2x.
I think the bottom.
Thank you, Cindy. I did say you could choose which one. We don't all need to know. Thanks, though. And in this box, we're going to have x and negative 3. So that would be negative 3x. And in this last one, it would be the 2 and the negative 3, negative 6 again. All right? Be careful. Some people don't want to start writing when they're adding together. Always remember your multiplying. All right, so you can see from both of those we've got the same answers, yes? You choose a method that you like. Both are correct. Both give you the same answers. Now, the last thing we have to remember is that when we're expanding, we must simplify if we can. So what we have to do is to look at these 4 things and say, are there any like terms? Maya? So is the x squared, the x, the 6, are they all completely different?
Oh no.
What?
Not completely different, but I was going to say that the x squared, but I think they're not, because there's no, because x squared would be x.
That's right. So the x squared and the 2x aren't going to be like, no.
I don't. Wait, isn't x and x too?
Georgie?
Minus negative 3x is 4x.
Yes, does everyone see that this one here and this one here are actually like terms? So look, this one's got a negative 3x and this is a 2x. So they've got the same combination of letters, haven't they? They've both just got one x. This was an XX. This has no x's, but these both just have one x. Yes?
They have to have the same sign.
No, not same signs and numbers, definitely not. They can have different signs, different numbers, but they have to have the same combination of letters. Okay? So that means that we need to join them together. So we say to ourselves now, we've done our multiplying, that's done. We now need to join them together. So we've got negative 3x plus 2x. What happens there? If we start at negative 3 and we're adding on 2, where do we end up? Sarah, we start at negative 3 and we add on 2, what are we going to end up with?
Okay, and it ends up with negative 1.
Good. And we would just therefore write negative x, wouldn't we? Yes? Starting at negative 3, adding on 2, we end up at negative 1. So do you know our final answer would be x squared minus x minus 6. That's our final answer. And obviously, our joining of our like terms would happen for either method. Both methods, we have a negative 3x and a 2x. Both methods, we end up with the same answer. Georgie, you have a question?
Yeah. So on a test, like when you get ready to fill the question out, so we write like FOIL or you do both methods and then we just like do that.
Yeah, as long as you wouldn't even have to write the letters FOIL. As long as I can see these 4 things, that's fine. That's a working show.
But then that would be like 1 mark and then the next mark would be that.
Yes, so in case you mess up your simplification. Okay? Hang on, darling.
Why would you do minus 3 plus 2x? Why can't you do plus 2x minus 3x?
You could.
Oh, they get you the same.
Yeah, because if you start with 2x, if you take away 3x, you end up with
Okay,
negative
so
1.
it doesn't really matter.
No, the order is not. Hang on, Kai has a question there.
Oh, I don't get the answer. I get the other part, but I don't get the answer.
So the joining of the like terms you're not sure about?
Well, like, can you like explain it? Because I know how to join the like.
Can I go to the toilet, please?
No, darling, you've got 2 seconds, like 2 minutes before the end of the school. So, are you happy with our 4 terms here?
Yeah.
Okay? So we then always, like we did up here, we said, are there anything that are like each other? Are there anything that we can join together? And we spotted that we've got X is here and here. That means we have to join them together.
Okay. Oh, can you do it with the box?
Yes? So I've circled them.
Okay.
So they're the 2 that are like terms. Yes? So if I've got 2x here and negative 3x, when I join those together, I would end up with negative x. Yes?
Okay.
So then all I've done is I've written x squared, negative x, and a negative 6. So the 3 things that are left.
Okay.
Okay? Right, so we've learned how to do FOIL.